Hello everyone, my name is Sarah and in today's video I'll be sewing my Pinterest board. I have been seeing a lot of these videos on YouTube and I really like the concept, so I wanted to make it myself. And so I chose 3 projects from my Pinterest board that I wanted to recreate for this video. Since summer is almost here, I wanted to make summer clothes, and in summer I'm usually in dresses or shorts, so that's the kind of projects I'm going to try to do today. But in reality, in terms of sewing, I mostly sew dresses, and this year I'm really trying to do other things other than dresses. But the truth is I've mostly sewn dresses all year, so I'm going to try to make some tops and a skirt and short, but I am going to make one dress. The first project is going to be a dress. So let's talk about the projects. The first project I want to make is a dress, and I know I just said I didn't want to make only dresses, but I at least have to make one. And the inspiration for this dress is the Carmen dress from House of CB. I absolutely adore House of CB dresses. I unfortunately don't have any, but I do love getting inspiration from their dresses for my sewing. Luckily, there's a pattern available for this dress, which is the Juliana corset dress by Coraline Street. She actually recreated this dress and made the pattern available. I've had this pattern since she released it, but I haven't sewn it yet, so I'm very excited to see how it looks. I've seen so many people use this pattern and their dresses all look amazing, so I'm really excited to see how mine turns out. I'm going to be using this fabric. I actually already cut the dress, that's why I only have this much fabric left, but I'll show you what I've done so far in a second. But this is just a cotton fabric with some roses. I think it's very much the kind of print that House of CB dresses have, especially the Carmen dress, and I think it is just the perfect fabric for this dress. I've already used this fabric on a corset top and I love it. It's one of my favorite pieces. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into this one. The second project is going to be a 2-piece set. So I want to make a top and some shorts. Now I am avoiding making a dress, but I will show you the inspiration picture, which is a dress. And again, it's another House of CB dress, but ever since I saw this dress with this lace detail and the ribbon, I just fell in love with it. So I really want to make a top with that lace detail on the cups, but I don't want to make that style of milkmaid top. So I'm going to make a bustier style top. I actually found another image with that detail, but I don't want it to be exactly like that. I don't want the ribbon detail on the seams of the bodice. I only really want it on the cups. But that's the idea for the top, and I want to make matching shorts to wear with the top. I decided to make shorts because I need some shorts for summer, and I think shorts with this kind of fabric are going to look very cute. I'm not sure if I'm going to add the lace detail on the shorts or not. I think it could look cute, but I'm not sure if I will want to do that because I do want these shorts to be worn with other things as well. For this project, I am going to be using my own pattern. I've already drafted the pattern for the top. It's the same pattern I made for the dress that I recently made. I'm going to leave a picture here. I made that pattern by following a tutorial here on YouTube. The tutorial is by Coraline Street and I will have it linked, but I will have to do some adjustments because that was the first time that I used that pattern and I do want to change it a little bit. For the shorts, I'm also going to be drafting the pattern. And by the way, I am learning pattern making, so that's why I am trying to make the patterns in this video. So at the moment, if I don't have a pattern already, I will try to make it myself. But with shorts, I do have some shorts patterns, but none of them look the way I want them to look. So I want them to be kind of high-waisted, and then I want them to be a little bit flared. And none of the patterns I have worked well for me, so I'm going to make my own. And for this project, I want to use this broderie anglaise fabric. I really like this fabric. I actually have used it on multiple projects already. I do still have quite a few. I actually bought 4 meters of this at the time, so I've been able to make a lot of pieces out of this one. And the third project is going to be another 2-piece set. The inspiration for this one is another dress, no surprise there, but this time I am going to separate it and make it into a top and a skirt. So I want to make basically like this picture here. I want to make that kind of top and that kind of skirt. I think this dress is from Reformation, and Reformation actually has a lot of this kind of skirts. The pattern I'm going to be using for the skirt is the Valentina skirt pattern by Coraline Street. I was a pattern tester for this skirt and I really love how it looks, but I don't love the fabric that I used for the pattern test, so I don't really use that skirt, and I want to make another one with the fabric that I actually like and will get use out of. So I decided to make this 2-piece set and use that pattern again. The top I am going to draft myself again because I don't have any that is exactly like this. I have used another pattern with princess seams, but I don't love how it looks on me, so I'm going to try to draft one. And I want the top to have tie straps, like really long and thin ones. I think that's going to look very cute. And the fabric I want to use is this one right here, which is a viscose fabric. It's white and it has this floral pink design. I really love it. I actually got this fabric in France in my recent trip to Paris. It was my first time fabric shopping in Paris and I absolutely loved the experience. And this was one of the fabrics that I got there. I got 3 meters of it, so I think it's more than enough for this project. So I think I may still be able to do something else with this because Because to be honest, when I was looking at the inspiration pictures for this one, I saw so many dresses that I wanted to make. I would also like to make like a bustier one, and I am still unsure. Like, I saw this picture and I just think it looks so beautiful, but again, I don't want to make like clothes that are too similar all the time. So my plan is to make that as a two-piece, and then if I have enough fabric left and if I can make like the bustier, maybe I'll try to do that as a separate piece as well. Or if I really want to make it into a dress, I can always just use the skirt and attach it. We will see. But the plan for this video is to make this two-piece set. Okay, that was a lot of talking. Now let's get to sewing. Let's start with the Juliana corset dress. I've already cut the pattern pieces. I have cut both the lining and the main fabric. And I've also already cut and sewed the entire skirt. So I had already started this project a few weeks ago, but I wanted to include it in this video because the only thing I have done is sew the skirt. So there's still a lot more to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is make the straps. I have already cut and ironed them. So now I need to sew them and then do my least favorite task, which is turn them right sides out. And unfortunately, they're quite big. So this is going to be a little bit time consuming, but the quicker I do that, the quicker we can move on to the rest of the top. So that's the plan. We're going to get started on the straps and then move on to the bodice. The straps are done. Finally, it actually didn't take me that long. I do have that accessory that turns the strap. I lost it for a really long time and I had to turn the straps using a safety pin and it took so much longer, but that was actually quite quick. Now it's finally time to sew the top, and the instructions don't really say to serge the edges, but I mean, I just always do it, and I don't know. I don't like to leave them raw like this, especially because I am using this satin fabric for the lining and it just frays so much. So I am going to serge them. I am just going to serge on the sides, not on top and bottom, but I'm going to do that for all the pieces. Again, the instructions don't say to do this, so we'll see if I regret that, but I don't think I will because I always do this. And even if I was worried about the seam allowance being a little bit smaller, like this is an adjustable back, so I don't think it will be an issue, but we'll see. I may regret my words. I just finished sewing the bodice, so here it is. And I also sewed the lining of the bodice as well. So I'm going to leave that for now. I still need to put the boning channels, but I'm going to do that later because on the instructions it says to do that later. So now it's time to make the cups. I am going to make the option with the removable foam cups because I really like when dresses have foam cups. To be honest, I don't usually make them removable, but I'm going to try that for this dress. I think it will be nice to have the option, so let's try to do that. I'm going to cut a slit and then I'm going to overlock the edges of the slit so that it's finished. That's what it says to do on the instructions, so that's what I'll be doing. And then I'll continue sewing the cups normally. I'm going to cut the cups out of this foam. It's the same one that I used the last time I made foam cups. One last thing I want to tell you about the bodice is that I was worried about the seam allowance being smaller because I used the overlocker. But then when I sewed, I used a little bit smaller seam allowance. So I measured how much I had cut from each seam. It was about 3 millimeters. So I did use a smaller seam allowance and I think it worked fine. I don't think I will know for sure until the dress is finished, but I tried it on and it was fine. The only issue that I may have is when I attach the lining to the skirt, if the center seams don't match. But to be honest, I don't know if they're supposed to match anyway. But I'm happy with this and I am glad that I overlocked because I do prefer this kind of finish. Even if it is lined, I do prefer to overlock each piece. But that may just be personal preference. Okay, let's get on with the cups. The top is nearly finished. I already sewed the entire lining. I just have to sew the boning channels and add the boning, and then I have to sew the straps, and then the dress will be almost finished. I haven't made the foam cups yet. I think that is going to be the last thing I'll do, but here is where the foam cups will be, and then it will only be sewing it to the skirt and adding the zipper. I'm really happy with how this is looking, and I can't wait to see it finished. It's been a few days and I have finished the dress. I am very happy with how it turned out, and I have to say that this pattern really exceeded my expectations. I really love the fit of the dress, and the fact that it has this lace detail on the back makes a huge difference. I didn't know how much of a difference it would make until I actually tried it on, and wow, I have to say it's so flattering. I will show you on the reveal shots the difference with the lace done and undone. The dress was easy to make, although I have to say that there are some parts that I would have done a little bit differently, especially the bodice. I would have probably sewn it a little bit differently, but it's always nice to know new techniques, so I was happy to follow the instructions. But I think the next one that I make, I will probably make it a little bit differently. But overall, I am very, very happy. I think I will be living in this dress this summer. I imagine that I will be wearing it a ton. Since I use satin for the lining, it is extremely comfortable, but I am a little bit worried for the hot summer days if it will be a little bit too hot, but I guess we will see. So I would say the first project was a success, but now let's move on to the second one. I've been working on the pattern for the last few days, and I already made 3 tests actually. I made the first 2 tests with this pink cotton. I will be reusing this fabric for other things because I don't like the fit of these shorts, but I will be reusing the fabric. I was trying to get like the perfect fit. These ones were too narrow. I wanted them to be a little bit looser on the legs, and I wanted the waist to be high waist, and this was quite low. But then with this third one, I think the fit is just right, so I'm very happy with it. And now I am ready to cut into the actual fabric for this project. I will actually use these shorts. They are a little bit see-through at the moment, so I don't know if I will add some lining or if I will just use them around the house or as pajama shorts, but I think they are pretty cute and I really like the fit of them. I think I will need to fix the waistband because I made the waistband just a rectangle, and I think it will need to have some curve because it is a little bit loose at the front, so I will still need to fix that, but I think the pattern is ready to cut into the actual fabric. But yeah, I'm gonna get started on the shorts now, and I will also show you the changes that I made to the pattern of the top on the computer. This was the pattern that I used for the dress. I made it from Caroline Street's tutorial, and I made it using my basic bodice blocks, and following the tutorial I got these 6 pieces, which at the time I did make some changes, but it was just a few small changes, nothing much, so I'm just going to show you what I changed now for this new top. The biggest change that I made now was on this side of the cup because I made it slightly smaller on this point right here. I wanted it to have a curved shape on this side, so I just decreased the size a little bit. Let me see if I can show you a comparison. So this yellow is the original cup and this red is the new one. As you can see, I just moved it down a little bit, and I also moved this line down too, because in the previous pattern we had this curved line, and in this one I just made a continuous line from the cup to the armhole, and I really like the result. I also made the center front distance a little bit smaller than in the original pattern because I found that in my dress I had a little bit too much fabric in here, so I just decided to make it smaller. This probably means I need to adjust my basic bodice block because it's probably not right. This should be the center front, but I don't know, I need to figure that out. At least for this top I think this is going to work. And then for the back, this top is going to have an open back with the lace detail, so I don't need the center back piece. I only need this one, and I didn't really make any changes, so I just copy it over, and that's basically it. These are the 5 pieces that I'm going to be using for this top. just finished sewing the main fabric of the shorts, and now I have to sew the lining because since the fabric has eyelets, I really need to make a lining, and I'm going to be using this fabric for the lining, which to be honest, I don't know what kind of fabric it is. I got this fabric for the lining of my wedding dress, my second dress, and I really liked it because it's very lightweight and very comfortable. It does have a little bit of stretch. It wasn't an issue with the dress, so I don't think it will be an issue with the shorts either, but I don't have a lot of it left, but I do think I have enough for the shorts. I'm going to make a new pattern for the lining. It will be a little bit shorter and not as wide on the hips, but it's going to be very similar. It's just going to be a little bit smaller. And then I'll just have to make the waistband and add the zipper, and the shorts will be pretty much done. I decided not to add pockets because of the fabric. I think it would be kind of weird to see the pockets underneath, so I decided not to add them. So this is what the top looks like right now. I have sewn the entire top, basically. The only thing I have left is to attach the cups. This is the lining. It's fully sewn. This is a satin lining. I think it's going to be very comfortable. It's no longer see-through, so it's great. I decided not to put in any boning. I don't want this top to be uncomfortable. I don't know if this will make it, not stay in place, but I do have another top with this kind of structure that doesn't have boning, so I decided to try it for this. I also still have to put the eyelets to then put the ribbon through and then put on straps, but I don't want to put the straps on before I finish the cup because I'm still unsure what kind of straps I want for this top. The problem is I can't really finish this top right now because I realized that this lace trim that I got to put on the cups doesn't really match the color. I thought that my fabric was a little bit lighter. Let me just show you. I think you can see a little bit better this way, but the fabric is a lot more beige than the lace. So I'm gonna have to try to find some cream lace to match the fabric a little bit better. So I will not be finishing the cups right now. However, I think this will look very cute once I find some lace that matches the cups. I can kind of picture it already with the pink ribbon, but like I said, I can't really finish this right now because this will have to be sewn in place with the rest of the bodice. So I'm gonna leave this for now and I will continue later. But now I'm going to continue with the shorts. All I have to do for the shorts is finish the waistband and then add the zipper and then hem the bottom. I started making the waistline and I tried to make it curved, but it doesn't really work very well. I did it wrong. I meant it to fold in on itself, but I shouldn't have stretched the pattern to make that. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but I tried it on and I realized that I prefer just a rectangle, like the first test that I made. So I decided to cut just 2 rectangles of 8 centimeters and they will be folded on each other. But I do want the waistline to have some interfacing. However, if I put interfacing on this fabric, you will be able to see it through the eyelets. I already did that mistake once. So I thought that I could put this very thin lining underneath because the idea is to put the interfacing on this piece of fabric and then sew it together with this one like this. The interfacing will be on the inside and then I will just fold it on itself. The interfacing will be underneath this layer. By the way, this is not the same lining that I was using for the shorts because that lining is a little bit stretchy and I don't think it would work for the interface. So I decided to use this one, which is a very lightweight cotton. I think this is like 45 GSM. I've never actually used it, so it's going to be the first time that I used it. Okay, enough talking. Let's go finish these shorts. The only thing I have left to do is hem them, and I'm not sure how short I will make them. Probably going to be quite a little bit shorter, but I prefer to leave a longer hem and then shorten it than not having enough fabric in the first place. I decided to try it on with this top, but now that I'm seeing it together with this top, I think it could look cute to have some detailing on the bottom of the hem. I'm thinking of adding a little ruffle on the bottom because now seeing this little gather on the top, I think it could look really cute as a little detail on the bottom. I decided to try to add the ruffle at the bottom, and I think it looks just so cute already. I don't know if I chose the right size of a ruffle. I made it so the ruffle would be 2 centimeters, but I don't know if that's the right size for this kind of ruffle. I guess we will see after it's sewn. I'm pinning it 2.5 centimeters from the bottom because I don't want to cut into the fabric just yet. So I'm gonna try it like this, and if it is the right size and if I like the way the ruffle looks, then I will cut the excess off. But if not, I will just seam rip it. I'm back to working on the embroidered top, but unfortunately I couldn't find any embroidered ribbon that matched the fabric. So I'm going to end up using the same white one that I had, but I'm hoping that it won't be too noticeable once it's sewn because of the satin ribbon and the contrasting color. We'll see, but I hope that in the finished top it won't be too noticeable. The top is finished now, and how cute does this look? Seriously, I love the lace detail on the cups. I think it looks really cute, and I think the pink ribbon makes it look adorable. I decided to make the straps ribbon straps as well, but these are white and they are tie straps. And then for the back, I did an open back with these lace ties, so this is what it looks like. And I did eyelets, which ended up not being a great idea because this is an embroidered fabric and it has holes. So when I first tried on this top, the eyelets came off. So to fix it, I basically added a strip of interfacing both to the main fabric and to the lining to make it a little bit more secure. And then to try to make it even more secure, I added 2 rows of stitches to the outside. I don't know if this will help or not, but I hope so. I am not expecting this top to last too long, honestly, because it really wasn't the smartest idea to do eyelets on this one. But in order to change it to have loops instead of eyelets, I would have to replace these side back pieces, and I really don't want to do that right now. So for now, I'm just going to wear it like this, and hopefully it will last a little bit. If it doesn't, well, at least I learned something with this project, and I will for sure want to use this pattern again and make another one of these. But next time I will find a white fabric that matches the lace detail, because even though it's not too noticeable, it's still a little bit noticeable. So I would like to remake this in another fabric. But I'm really happy with the pattern. I'm happy with the shape of it, and I think it looks really cute with the shorts. Now seeing the top and the shorts together, I kind of wish I did this lace detail on the shorts as well at the bottom of the shorts, but I do want the shorts to be worn with other things, and I just don't know if I would wear them with other things if it had this detail. But I still think they look cute with the ruffle, so I am happy with this set. Let me know what you think in the comments, if you think I should keep the ruffle or change it to this lace detail on the shorts as well. So project number 2 is finished, and now we're gonna go to project number 3. Let's move on to the third and final project of this video, and that is the matching set. So I'm going to be using this viscose fabric that I got in Paris. So I really want to make something special with it. I have 3 meters of this fabric, but I want to make as much as possible with it. So I really would like to have enough fabric left over for another project. The pattern that I'm going to be using is the Valentina skirt pattern by Coraline Street. Right now, when I'm filming this video, the pattern isn't available yet. I already have it because I was a tester for this pattern, but I think it should be launched soon. So when it does become available, I will link it in the description. Now this fabric has a directional print, but I don't think it's noticeable because you have flowers in all directions. So I think I should be fine cutting into it like it's a non-directional fabric, because I want to use as little fabric as possible for this skirt. So I'm going to invert one of the panels because I really want to save as much fabric as I can. So I will be cutting one of the patterns upside down, and hopefully it won't be visible because, again, I think it's not really noticeable. You have flowers going on in all directions, so I think it shouldn't be a problem. I haven't gotten started with the pattern for the top, so I will need to be doing that. But I think I'm going to be making the entire skirt first because I really want to start wearing the skirt before I get onto the top. And right now I just want an easy project where I don't have to think about making the pattern. And the skirt is very easy to make, so I'm excited to make it. Also, I think I'm going to line this skirt. I got some white viscose fabric to put underneath it because I think this will be a little bit see-through. But yeah, I'm gonna go cut the fabric out. I finished sewing the main fabric of the skirt. I sewed all the panels together and I made the slit on the front. But I haven't top stitched the slit yet because I will want to add lining and I want to sew the lining to the slit. So basically I'm thinking of sewing it to the slit, and then when I top stitch, everything will be attached right here. This pattern does not have instructions for lining, so I was thinking about it, and I think I'm going to cut the exact same pieces as the main fabric, but I will make them shorter, and then I will attach them at the waistband and on the slit. That way it will have some movement, but it won't show through the slit. At least that's what I hope. I have never tried it, so that's what I'm thinking of doing. I did cut the back panels upside down like I said I would, and honestly I don't think it's visible. I think this print is very forgiving and you can't tell that it's directional. And this way I ended up only using 1 meter of fabric for this skirt, so I still have 2 meters left. I still need a little bit more for the waistband, but I think I will have enough fabric for another project because I'm not planning on using too much fabric for the top anyway. I really want to get the most use out of this fabric as possible because I love it. It's a beautiful color and a beautiful print, so I really want to make use of it. The lining I'm going to be using is this white viscose fabric. It is not completely white, but I think it will look very good underneath the skirt. And this is also the same lining I will be using for the top. The skirt is not completely see-through, so I think it could be fine without the lining, but I know I will be more comfortable if it is lined. So that's the plan for now. Let's get this skirt finished. I'm making the lining 3 centimeters shorter than the main fabric, so this was the mark for the main fabric and the lining is just 3 centimeters shorter. I don't know if it will be enough, but I will also cut the edges with the overlocking machine, so I guess we'll see. If it's not enough, then I can always just cut a little bit more afterwards. I have sewn the main fabric to the lining here on the top, but now I have to sew the slit part, and I decided to top stitch just this part right up until the slit, and then I will sew the slit and hopefully it will work. I am not exactly sure. So I folded the main fabric approximately 1 centimeter towards the inside, and I'm going to open it and place the lining fabric inside, and then I will close it, pin it, and sew all the way through with the lining kind of sandwiched in between the main fabric. That's the goal. Let's see if it works. The skirt is finished now and I love it. I have been wearing it a ton. I actually finished it quite a few weeks ago. This video is taking a lot longer than expected, but this is actually one of the pieces that I've been wearing the most because it's really comfortable, and it was definitely a good idea to add this lining to the skirt because I don't have to worry about it being see-through at all, and attaching it to the slit was also a good idea because you can't really see it while I'm wearing it. But yeah, this skirt is done and now all I have to do is make the matching top. I'm working on the pattern of the top now, and I'm going to be using the same pattern that I used for the bustier top, but I'm just going to change it to have princess seams instead of the cups. So my first idea was just to join these two pieces together and then these two, but I needed to make some changes to the center front because I don't want it to be like this. So I moved this point a little bit up and I made this curve to join it to the top of the curve, and this is what it looks like now. I'm going just to delete this so you can see this is what it looks like right now, and I don't need to make any changes to the back pieces. So I'm just going to make a mock-up using this pattern and see what I need to adjust, but I'm happy with how it looks now. I think I probably am going to need to adjust this curve and this point right here, but I just want to test it and see on my body what I want to adjust. I know this is probably not the right way to make princess seams, but I figured that I liked the fit on the top so much that I kind of want to make it from there and then adjust later what needs to be adjusted. I tested the pattern with this fabric right here, which is the same one that I used for the shorts, so I think I'll actually make a little matching set with this fabric as well. But I am happy with the shape of this. I'm only going to make a small adjustment on the bust because I think the curves need to be a little bit rounder, and as you can see I didn't make a full top. This is just the center front piece and the side front pieces because I am happy with the back pieces, so I don't really need to test those. And although I will eventually finish this top and make something out of this, I don't want to do that right now. I would like to take these outfits for my vacation next week, so my goal is to finish the actual top this week. So I'm going to put this one on pause for now and make the actual top for this project. So I'm just going to make that small adjustment on the pattern and then I'm going to go cut the fabric. finally finished the top. I didn't really film it because I just wanted to get it done, and I'm really happy that it's finished, but I actually ended up really liking the way it turned out. Pattern worked well, but it's not really perfect. I think the next time I do it, I will change the side pieces a little bit. I feel like this side seam could definitely be adjusted, especially on top. I was a little bit worried about the princess seams, but I actually really like the fit of those. This one was a little bit of an experiment, but I think it paid off. I really like it. I think it was definitely the right decision to make this into a two-piece set. I really love the way this looks with the skirt, but this way I can also use it with other things. And I think I will still make the bustier top with this fabric, so that way I will have two options to wear with the skirt, and I think this fabric would look really good in that style of a top. But that's a project for next year because now it's almost fall, so I'm kind of done with my summer sewing. And since I didn't film this, let me just tell you a little bit about this top. So like in the skirt, I lined this with just white viscose fabric. I added these really long tie straps as well, and I decided to add a side zipper, so that way I don't need to have an elasticated bag or a lace bag, so it is just a side zipper. And that's about it for project number 3. Let's see the result. And that's all for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!